All right, 6 seconds in, which means it's running. Oh, you know what? I need to get the charger. If some of you are already here, be patient with me. And if you're used to my channel and you don't recognize the setting, don't worry, you are in the correct place. I have a new setup today. Here we go. All right, that should make things even better. Hopefully I can read that. Let's try this again. Hello. There we go. That's a lot of volume for something that's supposed to be on mute. There we are. Okay. Yes, it also looks a little crooked. Let's see what I can do about that. Y'all, I like this. Typically, I have to guess what you can see, but because we're in a new spot, Justin and I have a dining room table, which I never used to have before. And this allows me to have my laptop pulled up alongside the mobile device, which is what I'm using to record the live. That so far, I think, if I'm reading the notifications here correctly, so far I'm the only one here. So I'm like monologuing to myself, which honestly speaking, Justin says I do all the time anyway. Anyway, if you if you are coming into the live, let me know that you're here by giving it a like, saying hello in the comments so that I can greet you. Hopefully I'll be able to read that from my laptop's device. This is very different than when I do it mobile. What does this OXP mean? What does that mean? I'm going to click on it. Be the first in the leaderboard by showing support. Try sending a live chat or super chat. Oh, that's nice. I don't know if I qualify for super chat though. All right, I'm just going to hang out for a couple more seconds before I start pulling cards. If some of you guys show up today, because I did not pre-announce this to any of my email lists or my social media pages. So if some of y'all show up, that will be amazing and we will play together. But if it turns out it's just me, then this, of course, will live on the channel for you to watch whenever you're ready. And you can find out the truth about your power, your own personal, individualized power, and why you are secretly stronger than you recognize. So it's going to be silent for a little bit, you guys. That's simply because I am giving some time for some of you to show up. I wonder if it's going to be weird for people not to actually see me on camera today. Probably not. They're probably used to this kind of thing. Okay, so I can't tell. Y'all, it looks like, for those of you who are watching this in the replay, it looks like we're at about 5 minutes in. So I think I'm going to go ahead and get started. Oh, someone just showed up. Hello, please say hi in the comments so I can know who you are. Or in the chat, I guess. It's the chat since it's alive. So I can say hi to you and greet you. Thank you for showing up to my live stream today. It's impromptu. I just finished having breakfast. Yes, at 2 something in the afternoon on the East Coast. I just finished having breakfast. And I've been wanting to go live again for several weeks, but my summer schedule has not allowed it. And since I had some free time today, I was like, I'm going to go and say hey to my peeps, pull some cards for them, and help them reconnect with their own sense of power. Hey, Adrian Master. Yes, free questions are allowed. So do not hesitate to stick a question in the chat. I am primarily focusing today on your personal power. So if you have a question about needing to feel powerful, maybe you feel like you've been losing your sense of power. Maybe you want to regain your sense of power. Maybe this is the first time you've thought about being a powerful person. Please feel free to put that in the chat. But if you have a question about something else as well, you can add that also. It does not have to be a power related question. But I am going to go ahead and start pulling the cards to give some insight about your personal power, okay? So if you are brand new to the channel, welcome. My name is Shon. I am a tarot reader and a professional artist living in the southeast section of the United States, I guess southeast region of the United States. I typically love to go live and haven't had a chance to do so for the entire summer. I think the last time I went live, it was like May. So this is me just coming back. Typically, you'll see me on the camera, but today you do not. If you are just now joining, please be sure to add your hello into the chat box so that I can greet you. But I am going to go ahead and start pulling cards for those who are already here, including Miss Adrian Master, who again, Adrian, feel free to stick your question in the chat. So y'all, today we are talking about, today we are talking about the truth about your power and why you're secretly stronger than you recognize. I love this topic because a lot of us don't realize just how impactful we really are, whether it's impact that we have on other people, which is where a lot of focus tends to go for some, or impact for ourselves, impact in our own lives, being able to create, live, and sustain the life you want. So, like, are you one of those people that sometimes feels like when you get something that you've wanted or when things go your way, you feel like it might be a fluke, right? Or it goes away not too long after you've received it? Is that your reality? Have you felt that way? And that can make you feel like you have no power at all, right? Like life is just kind of happening to you, like you're at the whim of fate. But I believe and would like to encourage you to believe that you actually are much more powerful than that, but you don't really recognize just how powerful you are. So we're going to start by pulling from some tarot decks that I have set up for you. I have several here. And then we're going to get some more insight for you from Oracle cards. So the first deck we're pulling from to give you a little bit more insight in how powerful you really are is literally, it's got the word power in the name, okay? It's the Crystal Power Tarot. And let us start with that. We're going to get 3 cards from this one. So the first card you have here is the 5 of Cups. Ooh, this tells me something for sure. Yes, yes, yes. Yes. Oh, that is the prettiest 5 of Cups card I have ever seen. They're usually like gray and dark because 5 of Cups talks about our grief, right? It tends to focus on something that's gone wrong. So grief, regret. Your second card that you have is Knight of Wands. How perfect with us talking about your power today. Yes. And how complementary these 2 cards are to each other. This particular shade of pink with this particular shade of blue. All right. And that card is really speaking to potential for you, but not just potential, because when we think about or talk about potential, we tend to think of it in terms of in the future, someday, eventually. But this is your potential for now. This Knight of Wands is speaking to power that is within you now. I just realized, is that crooked? It doesn't look crooked on my table, but maybe the camera's a little crooked. You know what? I'm just going to adjust it in the card instead of trying to fight with the camera, because the camera can be finicky, right? So yeah, that Knight of Wands. And then your third card that you have from this particular deck It's the death card. I love it because the death card is always, you guys, actually death and rebirth. And this speaks to new beginnings, new direction, new wave, right? So essentially, one of the reasons you don't recognize exactly how powerful you are, or sometimes struggle to maintain a sense of power in your own life, is because there are deep, deep seated, possibly even subconscious feelings of regret or remorse, definitely pain of something that has been lost that are operational inside you. You have not forgiven that grief. You have not released that grief, forgiven that pain. And so you live with some regret. I'm getting that this is definitely a past one, right? Because we're talking about regret and grief. So it's something that has already happened. And what I'm very, very strongly feeling is it's something that happened that was 125,000% outside of your control. Like there is literally nothing you did to make this happen, yet you feel such a very strong sense of responsibility for it, which is one of the reasons why you can't let it go. What I would like to encourage you to do is to make the effort to forgive yourself for that loss as though it was someone else's fault, because in truth it was someone else's doing. I want to stay away from the word fault. I want to say someone else's choice, doing, need that created this loss for you, right? But in your mind, which says to me this probably happened when you were really young, because children tend to blame themselves for everything. Children tend to they're egocentric, right? So they think anything and everything that happens is their fault, and it usually typically never freaking is, because children have no power. And this is part of why your sense of power now is being affected in such a way, because at such a young age, when you didn't have any power, you assumed mentally and psychologically and emotionally, you assumed the responsibility, the power for something that you had no power in. Okay. And now today, you are 100% being encouraged to know that you can take action now in ways that you couldn't before. What happened before was happening because, again, of something outside of you, someone else who had the power or the control. Typically, that's a guardian or a parent. But you are not under that person's thumb anymore unless you choose to be. If you are still in your mind and in your emotions thinking that the parental figures you had or the guardians you had still have more power over your life than you, or maybe the way you just interact with life in general, not even thinking about the parents or the guardians, is always as though there's something bigger than you, something out there larger than you that is making all the decisions, right? That is determining. You know where this comes up a lot for people? What should I do with my life? What am I supposed to do? Why am I here? That happens a lot for people, right? That question. And it's because of the sense of there's some right answer that someone else outside of you knows. Usually we tend to attribute that to a deity, usually the Judeo-Christian concept of God. And then what happens is we're sitting there waiting for this thing who notoriously doesn't speak out loud with words to give us permission to be or do something. When the reality is it's inside of you. What are you drawn to? What are you interested in? What do you desire? Go that way. Go in that direction. Do that thing. And if it turns out you don't like it, then freaking stop doing it and go in a new direction. That is the amount of power that you have. But because of this sense of loss from a time in your life when you weren't powerful at all, you don't realize that you have magnificent power now. In fact, you are all powerful now. And you will feel this more and experience this more as you believe it, as you own it. And let me say that better, because you're like, well, how can I believe it if I don't feel it? Let me say that better. As you give yourself permission to believe it. Start with giving yourself permission, and then the outcome will happen, right? Because a lot of times we're just waiting for permission, but unfortunately we're waiting for it from somewhere else or someone else instead of ourselves. So this Knight of Wands being here is letting you know, listen, now is the time. Now is the time. Forget then. Then is done. Then is over. And then was not your fault. And you have a great power of forgiveness. I'm wondering how many of you guys that are watching right now are Libra. If you're Libra, tell me so in the chat. And if you're watching this in the replay, tell me in the comments. Are you Libra? Libras are really big on being able to forgive other people, make space for other people's realities. And even if you're not sun sign Libra, maybe you've got Libra somewhere else in your top 3, or it shows up a lot of places in your chart. So like, for instance, I'm Aquarius and I just have it in one of my top 3, clearly my sun sign, but it also shows up like so many places in my chart. I'm like really Aquarius, right? And this ability that you have to forgive others, apply it to the self so that you can begin to allow yourself to take action now in the present. You're Scorpio, Adrian. I see that. Yes, that water sign. So Scorpio is very sensitive, right? And as a sensitive person, again, there's this strong ability to make space for other people's realities, to have empathy for them. Have that same empathy for yourself and whatever it is that you feel like you lost in the past, because it was completely outside of your doing. There's literally nothing you could have done about that. But now you do have agency and you do have the power to do something about your life. And for you guys, what I'm getting very strongly today is it's the creation of the life the way you want it. So go ahead and start telling yourself, I have permission to take action. I'm allowed to take action. I'm allowed to do this for myself. It's okay for me to do this. And I can change my mind if I want to at some point. I don't know how to say this. Is it Ramutin? I don't know how to say it, but you're Aquarius like me? Yes. I wonder if you're February Aquarius. Are you February Aquarius? I'm January Aquarius myself. And I'm always curious whether or not there are like big differences between the two, or if we are very, very, very much the same. I don't know, but I do wonder about that often. Y'all, I'm moving these cards around because it looks so dang it different. Okay, first of all, can we pause for just a second? I've been working with kids all summer. And so that's why I said dang it. Because I don't tend to be a dang it kind of girl. I tend to be a damn it girl. But of course, you can't talk like that in front of children, right? So if I start sounding like your great Aunt Ruth from Arkansas with my hex and my dang it's, that's why, okay? So anyway, now let's talk about this death card. Let's talk about this. First of all, look at that as far as death cards go. The only thing I don't love about this particular card, hold on, I just realized it's in the, these are very glossy and I'm directly under a light. So let me see if that helps a little. Okay, so the only thing I don't love about this death card is that the rebirth part of the death message is missing. If you think about the Rider-Waite-Smith version of the death card, there is a sun rising off in the distance, right? My favorite death card of all is in the Light Seers Tarot by Chris Ann. Oh my God. It's so good. It's so good. If I go long today, I'm not planning on it, but if I go long today, we'll take a break. I'll grab that deck and show it to you. But the way she shows death and rebirth in that deck is stunning. But that's what this is for you. So there is a brand new version of you, a resurrected even version of you that is set to start coming into your awareness because you're going to start creating it. It's kind of like a which comes first, the chicken or the egg. I am creating this new and then I'm aware of it, or I'm aware of the possibility of new, and so I start creating it. Sometimes I think it's symbiotic. I think the two go together, and that might be what's going on with you, right? But this is going to be such ancient history, this Five of Cups energy, because you're ready. And that's probably why you found this reading today. Like, I can't help but notice that we do have a small viewership right now, right? And it's probably because very select people are supposed to see this message today. It's for very specific people who are ready for the turn, ready for the change, ready for the acceptance of the power. Look at also, let me show you this. Check this out. And again, forgive me. There's a slight delay in the monitor that I can see. So if it takes me a second to realize that the cards are reflecting the upper light so much that you can't see that, just be patient with me. I'll fix it as soon as I'm able to see it in my laptop, okay? So we have the Five of Cups here And you see how she's like turned in on herself, like she's hugging herself, which is good. Self-love is one of the great ways that we get through grief. Um, but the body language is inward, and there's a holding of the self. And then this death card is bold and brash, and that chest is showing, right? The breast of the, I guess that's like a crow. No, that's not a crow. That's a, what's it called? Vulture, you know? So that's the difference that's going to happen with you. Now, that's not to say you're going to become dark like this death card is, because remember, it's death and rebirth. But the brashness, the confidence, the standing in the power unapologetically, that is what's coming for you, my friend. That's what that is. Okay? So you're going to be going from this through this to become this. And I cannot wait for you to see what it is you're going to bring into your life because of this power that you have. Now that you have the sense of, I get to choose, I get to act, I get to think, feel, be, do, have. That is what's up for you. All right, I'm going to take a quick second here and take a look at what you guys have written in the chat. So see, okay, so Adrian, you did ask your question. Thank you for your patience. You said, as a side hustle, will I be able successfully to earn money as a barber? First of all, I love this question because career readings are my favorite kind. As an entrepreneur myself, I absolutely love guiding other entrepreneurs, which is why most of the stuff that's in my shop is geared towards people who are self-employed, or you'll hear me speak about self-employment a lot in my content on social media. So we're going to pull on that for you specifically in just a second. Oh, I love that. And you say how many free questions are allowed? As many as you want, my friend. You can put as many as you want in there. I will get to the ones that I can before we go. So what I have for you right now, Adrian, is the This Might Hurt Tarot. It's one of my two favorite tarot decks for career readings. I tend to use this one and the Tinseltown Tarot a lot for career readings in particular. And we're going to ask the question and get you some guidance really quickly on whether or not you will be able to earn money as a barber and do it as a side hustle. Now, before I even pull a card, I want to give you a little bit of career counseling or business counseling based on what I know, having had, God, if I'm 50 now, I've had my own businesses since I was 14. I started my first business at 14. And of course, my first one was a side hustle because I was a kid in high school, right? I want to give you something to help you as you create this, because definitely looking at what we already got in the general reading part, absolutely you should go in this direction. Absolutely. And look, you've been waiting for permission, right? Which is why you came to this reading today, to hear about it, to hear it from the outside. This right here is your permission. You've already been given permission, and you're being reminded that you can give that permission to yourself. But we are going to get you some details in just a second from the cards. Before I do that, I want to say to you, one entrepreneur to another, one who, as a person who has been self-employed on some level since graduating college in 96, but had my first business since I was 14. I see two things in your question here that are very interesting and telling about what it is you want for yourself, okay? So your actual question is, as a side hustle, will I be able to successfully earn money as a barber? So the two things are side hustle and barber. Because typically when people think of barber, they think of like a barber shop and everything that entails. There's a lot of overhead that goes into having any kind of storefront business, any kind of, especially if it's customer facing like a barber shop would be, right? So for you, you want to resist any feeling of needing to make this big because of what the first part of your question is. You want it to be a side hustle. So ask yourself, Adrian, if you feel comfortable having people come to your home to get their hair cut. That is going to be the way for you to have maximum margins. Margins is the business word for profit, right? Well, profit is part of it. But anyway, and here's why. You don't want to go into a situation where you're trying to build up a place, having to pay out rent, having to buy, specific chairs and equipment and all that stuff, having to advertise costs money. All of that when you're only going to do it as a side hustle. If your question had said you wanted to leave your current job and open your own barbershop, and will you make money doing that? That's a different thing. But because you want it as a side hustle, my number one piece of advice for you is don't overwhelm yourself by taking on too much to turn it into a business. That way it can be profitable for you. All right. So ask yourself, am I comfortable having people coming to my home? Because that's going to be the best way for you to keep costs down, as long as you're keeping it as a side hustle. The second option for you is if you can find a place, sort of like for women, there's these things that are like salon centrals or salon lofts. And it's like where there's a lot of independent contractor stylists that are all renting booth space, and we still use the word booth, but it's more than just a booth in these. So like, let me start over. Say there's a landlord or a person who wants to be in real estate. They want to be a landlord. And so they buy they buy a warehouse, and then they section off parts of that warehouse to be little mini salons. And then various, stylists, whether they do hair or nails or both, they rent one of those mini salons, which they still call booths, in there. So that's another option for you to keep it a side hustle. Now, the trick about that, though, which makes it more expensive than if you do the first option that I gave you, is you will have to pay out that rent every month, whether or not you're able to make time in your schedule for taking clients that month. So the key for you, Adrian, is keeping it as low overhead, minimal cost as possible. All right, so let's see what else comes through for you. Spirit guides of Adrian. What else do you want? Look at that, judgment. You got the judgment card. You know what that speaks to? This is your calling. So even if you started small as a side hustle, you will eventually grow it bigger. People are going to really love getting their hair cut from you, not just because of the work that you do as the barber, but also because of how they feel when they're in your chair. They will absolutely love talking with you, connecting with you. I heard safe space. Interesting. I don't know exactly what that means. Maybe that means something to you. And if it does specifically mean something to you, please let me know. Share it with all of us here in the comments. But yes, something about coming to your spot, coming and being in your chair is really going to feel good to people, right? It'll be a sense of feeling like they are pampering themselves as well as doing something that's very functional and needed, like getting a haircut. I'm getting that word of mouth is going to be your best advertisement. It's that homey feeling. Yeah, it feels very strongly like the key for you is getting to the point where you know whether or not you feel comfortable having people come into your home. So maybe you start this side business with just friends, and maybe to help make it seem more elite, and you can have higher prices if you make it seem more elite, it's that people have to be invited to come. So instead of you doing like advertising to the general public, you start off with people that you already know because you're comfortable having them come to your home. And then you give them some incentive for referring other people to you. So people have to be invited by current customers of yours to become your customer. And we're going to actually change that word from customer to client. People have to be invited to become your client. And this is one of the ways that you can help yourself feel safe having people come to your home, because they are references from people who have already been there before. All right. If you want even more details, Adrian, please feel free to check out my shop. It's shon.wilson.com/shop. And in the shop, I have this thing that I offer. It's consulting, it's career consulting and business consulting. And I would love to work with you as you build up this business, because it definitely feels like a hell yeah. It's a hell yeah for you. All right, going back to your questions, let's see who else do we have. Remutin, I hope I'm saying that right. You said you're February Aquarius. I had a feeling. You said, yes, I'm February Aquarius. Oh, my name is Tessa. If it's easier for you to pronounce, by the way. Yes, of course it is. Of course, Tessa is easier to pronounce. I'm interested, though, in the origin of Remutin. Like, what is that? What does it mean? It feels very mystical, very mysterious. Maybe because it's reminding me of Rasputin. I don't know. Are you a diviner also? Do you pull cards or do some other sort of divination or some sort of magical practice? I'm curious. Tell me all about it. Tell everybody about it. All right. So oh, and if any of you guys have a channel that you want people to know about, don't hesitate to put the name of your channel in the chat box or in the comments if you're watching this in the replay, because we are here. We're a community, and so I would love people who are drawn to me are probably drawn to you too. So don't hesitate to put that in there. I will never remove those kinds of comments. Okay. Um, so you say here, I think the cards look good on camera. Thank you. I can see them clearly. Great. That's good to know. Thank you. And so your question is, hey, Adrian, I see here you say yes, but I have no idea what you're saying yes to. I'm guessing the clarification of side hustle versus full out barbershop in a storefront. I don't know. Tell me. Okay. So Tess says, could I ask something? Of course you can, Tess. Of course you can. I'm working as a drama teacher. Shut the fuck up. Girl, you know that my background is theater, right? Do you know that? I'm assuming so because you say it's lovely to catch you live. So that says to me that you're familiar with my content. So my degree is in musical theater performance. I have done film and television, of course, with my 13 years in LA. That's what I was there for. But a lot of the way in which I've made money ever since I was 20 years old is teaching in arts camps and arts enrichment programs. I've never worked in a school system as a drama teacher, but hey, like, recognize, like, welcome to my channel. Welcome or welcome back. All right, so you say you're working as a drama teacher since your creative degree went nowhere. I'm curious what kind of creative degree went nowhere and that the answer for you was drama teacher, because a lot of people would be like, my theater degree goes nowhere. So interesting. And then you say, I was thinking about writing some textbooks. I like that to channel my creative energy. I like that too. Should I go for it? Question. Do you want to write? Before I pull cards for you, Tess, tell me, do you want to write? Because what I am hearing and feeling in this question is, well, here's an option of something I can do to try to get this other thing that I want. And let me tell you something. A lot of times when we go in that direction, and it's second nature to think like that because of it being logical. And with you being Aquarius, you are very, very logical. So it's kind of that, well, I can take this step to get to this step and then do that, right? However, you only have so much energy and you only have so much time, particularly if you're also working a job as a drama teacher, whether it's full-time or part-time. Because for those of us who work in the performing arts space or creative arts space, even if we're contracted as part-time, it still feels like full-time because of all the prep work that we have to do, right? So again, similar to what I did with Adrian, I'm going to answer the question before we pull a card, all right? Given what I know of being in the same space as you, as someone making money from creative talents, do you want to write a book? Tell me that. Do you want to write? Tell me that. Do you feel called to write? Now, I'm feeling the answer to that is probably yes, even though in your wording here, you said it as, should I do this in order to do that? But I'm guessing it's creative writing. What's your degree? Okay, you said my degree was theater plus literature. Writing is my passion. Didn't I just say it? I said I feel like it's probably yes. Okay, so yes. All right. So in that case, you should absolutely write, but take this stipulation off of it. Take any and all energy off of it. That's I am going to write in order to do anything else. You got to get back into the sense of my passion is writing. And it's okay to do something for a passion, because if I am reading your messages to me here correctly, your basic needs are being met by this other thing, which is the drama. So you don't have to think about that. So now you can focus your creative writing on what it is you really want to creatively write. So I'm going to go back to your question here. I'm going to read it again with this new information, and then we're going to pull your cards, okay? So you say, I'm working as a drama teacher since my creative degree went nowhere. And I'm guessing that the word missing from this is writing. My creative writing degree went nowhere. How do you know? You ain't dead. Like, it may not have gone where you thought it was going to go in the timing that you thought it was going to go there. But I'm so curious to know, what were the things that you tried and the things that you did that made you end up feeling as though it went nowhere? But no, you're not dead. So there's no way to know it went nowhere. When you're dead, then we can know, yeah, that shit didn't work for her. But we don't know that yet, okay? And you say, I was thinking about writing some textbooks to channel my creative energy somewhere. Should I go for it? All right. So the question now becomes, I'm going to write these textbooks in order to use my creative writing. So Miss Tess, were textbooks what you wanted to write? Textbooks feel to me like how to, as opposed to creative, which can be fantastical in nature. Novels, right? Fiction. Short stories that are fiction. Graphic novels that are fiction. Comics that are fiction. Like, that's what I associate with creative writing. Textbooks goes how to. And so if you're going to focus on textbooks, it's if how to is what you're thinking there, it is going to be using a different part of your brain, Miss Tess, than if you were using creative. Can I give you a different suggestion? And I swear to God, we will pull your cards, I promise. Do you know The Artist's Way by Julia Cameron? If you have not heard of that book, check it out. It is a great way for you to reconnect with your own creativity if you feel like you have not been feeling very creative in the writing over the past few years. And you know what else I'm going to do? I'm going to go to my channel. So you guys be patient with me if I'm quiet for a minute because I can't multitask. I'm going to go to my channel and I'm going to find for you a reading I did using The Artist's Way as inspiration. Pick your topic. Shadow artist. Okay, so I'm going to put these in the chat here for you. Test so that you can, I hope it lets me do that. All right, so take a look at, in the chat, look for a link from my other profile. So it just says Sean Wilson instead of saying shon.vibes. All right. What does this wrench mean? Channel activity, go to channel remote. Okay, so yeah, that's fine. All right, so here's one link. I should have put more words in there. Hold on, let me do that better. Let me do that better. All right. So shadow artist reading. And now the link. Okay, so this is going to have some stuff for you that will be helpful. And then I pick a card, your new season. With Oprah's The Life You Want. Life, pick a card. Your creative block according to your 5-year-old self. Okay, and then here's the other one I wanted to get for you. This one, the creative block according to your 5-year-old self reading. So this might be the one that specifically inspired by the Julia Cameron book. I'm going to give you one more. Hold on. And then the final one is a live pick a card that I did. All of these are lives that I did that are now living on the channel. And this one is called It's Time to Get Rid of That Creative Block. All right. Get rid of creative block. I just realized you guys are seeing like the backside of my arm in a shadow in the in the video. Sorry about that. All right. So those are 3 options for anybody who needs them for reconnecting to the creativity, uncovering or discovering creativity. All right. Hold on. You say theater plus literature. Girl, you know what I think you need to do? Where are you? Tess, tell me in the chat where you are. I know exactly what you need to do. You need to write something for performance and you need to put it on the stage. That's what you need to do. Now, I know you're probably like, but I'm already doing that with these damn kids. That's not what I mean. I mean something that is not like you have to screen it for appropriate language and themes, and you got to sanitize scenes, or you got to get the junior version or the kid version and bore yourself to death as an artist. And also, you're not creating it, right? Now, 2 things. One, oh, girl, yes, all the things are coming through. Okay, so hold on. All right, hold on. God, so much. Okay, I should start having like a notebook here with me so that as I'm doing these and I get these, I couldn't because I'll forget. But anyway, okay, so hold on. Let's get back to the adult stuff. things that you feel inspired to talk about or to illuminate through your writing as a creative artist. Create stage versions of those. Do one if you want to do a full length, or do 2 or 3 if you want to make them shorter, and produce those for yourself. There are so many venues, depending on what city you live in, that would be open to you showcasing them there, producing them there, because it brings in new customers and clients for them. And again, if this is something you want me to help you through and talk you through in more detail as you do it step by step, please come on over to shonwilson.com/shop, order that consultation from me, and we will get you set up for that. The second thing that came through and why I got so excited, and I'm sure it was super loud, and I'm sorry, you guys, because I'm like right by the phone, is Tess, go ahead and start doing some of that with these kids that you're working with. Now, will you be able to do it to the full extent where it's completely reflective of you and the adult person that you are and some of the themes that you might want to tackle in your creative writing? Fuck no. I said fuck no on purpose because we're talking about children, and it kind of gets on my nerves how we have to sanitize everything for them. But anyway, so I don't know if y'all know this. I don't have any children. I work with children, love working with children, don't have any children. Why? Because children make you, like, your life gets controlled by them. But anyway, so but no, don't write textbooks unless you're just like, oh, I want to teach them how-to stuff. No, write things for your drama kids to perform. Come up with new ways, not just like the big end of the year production that's got to be like Annie Jr. or Elf Jr. or whatever the fuck all else, right? But find different times throughout the year, like Christmas would be, or the holidays. And if you're in public school, you have to say holiday season. That would be a perfect time where they're getting to perform original works that you have created for them. You can even do some throughout the semester instead of waiting for big events like Christmas or the spring. It's like, hey, y'all, this Wednesday we're doing a show and come see it. And so these kids are always getting to train towards and work towards performance. You're getting to work out your creative muscles. Also inspire audience members. It's a win-win-win. Now, I don't know what the school where you work, I don't know what their rules are, of course, around getting to do impromptu stuff. But maybe if you give them enough notice, that'll be a yes from your principal. Another thing that I want to give you is there's probably specific classes that you're teaching that are part of the school's curriculum that kids can take as electives, or maybe if you're lucky, I've never heard of this, but maybe where it's required that they have to take drama or creative art in some way. But in addition to that, creating like a little workshop, maybe on a Saturday or maybe one day after school, like one-offs here and there, where you're workshopping your pieces, just like, artists do in New York, writers, stage writers do in New York when they've got a new piece and they workshop it on the artists, I did this just yesterday. I was teaching in a summer intensive, a dance summer intensive this past week, ballet summer intensive. And during the lunch break, I absolutely hate monitoring lunch. I fucking can't stand monitoring lunch. And most of my jobs that I have, I don't have to do that. But this particular job, which I happen to love very, very much. I love where I work. I love the people I work with, the other adults. I love the children that I work with. But sitting and watching them eat is really boring for me. And it occurred to me finally on day 5, the last day, oh, why don't you use that time productively and work out some of your choreography for Nutcracker? Oh, that makes sense. And so then what I did is I asked some of the girls from one of the older groups, because they can do things and do things quickly, to meet me after they finished eating their lunch, to meet me in the room where I was assigned to monitor lunch for the itty bitties. And I was going to have them work out, do some of the things that I had in mind choreographically. And it was amazing. It was fun. So that was me workshopping in a very, very informal way, right? So that's another way in which you can, but that's how these are some of the things that are coming through for me, for you to work out your creative juices, reconnect with your creative juices. And without getting too far away from what the intent was when you got this particular degree and what the passion actually is. All right, hold on. You said here, will I travel? Okay, coming back to you, Adrian. I'll come back to your travel question in just a second. My degree is theater. Okay, I already looked at that. Gave you some links. Thank you for the straight answers. I first tried to write and publish original fiction and then be a journalist. Those are two very different kinds of writing, my friend, but couldn't make a lot of money by writing. Yeah, I think it's about knowing what kind of writing to do and where to do it and how to market the self as a writer. So again, I know it sounds like I'm pitching, and it's because I am, right? If we are self-employed, like Adrian wants to be, if we are creative artists, like Tess is and wants to be even more so, we have to be comfortable self-promoting, right? So here I go. Get the consultation with me. It is so well priced. It's easily affordable, particularly for anybody who's got like a regular job. Like if you're unemployed, it might be harder, right? But do that so I can help counsel you in a more detailed way on how to make your creative writing pay off for you. Because let me tell you something. I have been a paid professional artist since I was 20 years old. Before I graduated college, I got my first offer and I've been doing it nonstop ever since. So I know how to tell you what to do. I absolutely do. Okay. And then you say, also, thank you for the links. I'll check them out. Wonderful. All right. And then finally, yeah, the textbook thing was me being overly pragmatic, I think. Absolutely. And it's going to get you on the wrong path. You're going to go down the wrong path and not get the results that you are looking for. I really just want to write. And I was thinking about using my teaching experience to justify the effort I put. Girl, stop. Ew. I can hear so many other people talking through you that are not you. So here's my last piece of advice for you, and then I will pull one card for you because it's a tarot reading. But my last piece of advice for you is be very, very mindful of who you talk to about your career aspirations and even your feelings of failure around the career. Do not talk to people who have not done what it is you are setting out to do. They don't have viable advice for you. And because you are sensitive by nature, being an artist, the words that they say, you will eat them. And then they become truths in your mind. Even if you don't immediately go, oh, this is my truth, you still believe them as truths. And then you start trying to make those truths work when in reality, they're probably not even fucking truths because those people aren't even artists. They're not creative types. Don't do that. Don't do that to yourself, okay? Be very, very selective about who you talk to. I want to invite you to my Patreon. It's Sean Wilson. It's not Sean Wilson anything. It's patreon.com/shon.vibes, because that's a community of creative artists. And that way you can connect with other people who are, and these are working creative artists like me, okay? People who, and I say like me, but they're not quite like me. They want to be where I am, and they have taken some steps, many of them, okay? One other that's in there, maybe two, are like me and have been doing it for over a decade, but most are where you are, where it's like, it's the direction for you, but you don't know how to make it connect. There's a free option for my Patreon if you want to sign up for that, or you can do the $10 option, which is the one that I would really suggest for you to get the maximum benefit of it in the coachings and teachings that I do over there. Okay. Yeah, don't let other people influence anything having to do with your art if they are not artists themselves. That is the most important piece of advice I can give you. All right, coming back to Adrian's next question. Adrian said, oh, wait, I forgot. Hold on. Miss Tess. Spirit guides of Tess. Anything that you want to tell her that I have not added? King of Cups. It is most important that you follow that passion. The passion must lead the way for you there. What is it you really want? Do that. Don't caveat it. Because the other thing to keep in mind is you don't know what's going to unfold in life, right? And gets back to what I said earlier about God, these cards are crooked they're like, all right, that means the camera is crooked. Hold on, this is driving me nuts. A little OCD here. Let's see if I can fix that. Oh, I won't be able to fix it in real time because of the delay. So I'm just going to leave it. I lost my train of thought. This gets back to what I was saying earlier about, hold on. Passion, what you really want going, I don't know. If somebody remembers, tell me what I was talking about. But basically, your passion has to lead the way for you, okay? Not doing something because it's, oh, yes, I remember. This gets back to what I was talking about earlier about you not being dead yet, and you don't know if it didn't work out for you. You know it hadn't worked out yet, but what you don't know is what is going to come into the world that hasn't been invented yet. that will make space for what it is you're wanting to do. Quick example. When I first went back to dance, I was 27 years old, and all the conventional wisdom at the time was adults could not dance. Adults could not do ballet. But I stuck with it anyway because I knew that's what I wanted to do and how much I love ballet over theater. Even though my majority of my work was being done as an actor and a teacher of acting, and that's how I was making the majority of my money, the heart was in the ballet. The heart was in the ballet. And so I took to it as though I had a future in it, right? As though I was only 8 years old, just starting. I took classes every single day. Now, I'm lucky that I had a job that gave me free ballet classes. This is not something everybody can afford, but I did that. And then the next thing you know, life starts changing. And there starts being more and more adult ballet classes throughout the country in every region. And then adult ballet schools. Like there are some schools here in our city that are specifically just for adult dancers to give them. I work at one of them here. Well, no, it's not specifically, but it's got a full adult program here in Charlotte that I work for. It's one of the 2 studios that I work at. And then there's another one. I just saw the girl's channel online and I can't remember where she is. I think in the Midwest somewhere. Her whole studio is dedicated just to the adult dancer. And there's more and more, groups online, dance for all, dances for everyone, dance this, dance that, blah, 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 blah. And now, will all of them get to have some kind of professional benefit from it? No, but they're all doing it, right? But then there's the ones where there is a professional benefit. And so now there's adult dance summer intensives. I did one back in 2011. I actually wrote and got a grant for it to help me pay for it. So I say that to say the thing that you want and can do and want to do with your creativity may not have existed when you were first trying to do it. Particularly if, let me make sure I'm getting you right, you were the one that was Aquarius, right? Yeah. Where are you, sweetheart? Yes, you were the one. So particularly if you're an Aquarius, absolutely. You're always going to be ahead of your time. So you're going to be want to be doing things that the mechanisms for it don't even exist yet. And sometimes you will need to be the one to create the mechanisms. And that brings us back to what we talked about a second ago with you workshopping some of your stuff so that you can be connected to your creative writing again. That's what I got there. Your card here with this King of Cups, the passion. Stay focused on the passion. Do not kill it, drown it, bludgeon it with pragmatism. The pragmatism will naturally be there because you're an Aquarius. And also, too, sometimes you're saying pragmatism when it's really the shit other people have said to you about your life and your path. Okay, Adrian, coming back to you now. Your second question was, will I travel sometime in the future overseas? Give a simple yes or no. Adrian's like, you talk too much. Shut up, Sean. In fact, for all I know, Adrian might already be gone. Simple yes or no. Honey, this is not a pendulum reading. I don't have that. Thanks so much for the encouragement. It's great to hear from someone who has experience. You're very welcome, Tess. You're very welcome. And thank you for the tip. I appreciate that. All right. I think my tip stuff is under there. Oh, yes, it is. Okay. Adrian, a simple yes or no, honey. Why are you being so mean to me? All right. We're going to go for traveling overseas. One of the oracle cards I have here, one of the oracle decks I have here is the Mermaid Oracle. And since your question is nautical in nature, we shall use it. Oh, yeah, Adrian already left. I'm going to pull it just in case he comes back. People don't like when I call them out. I was like, Adrian told me to shut up, and Adrian said, I'm out. All right, so in case he comes back, the simple yes or no, I suppose, is patience. Yes, you will get to travel overseas, but it'll take time, okay? This is not something that you're going to get to do anytime soon or in the immediate, but eventually you will get the opportunity to do that. Okay, so since my little guide here tells me that there have only been 2 of you in this reading this entire time, and I have answered y'all's questions, I am, I'm going to just go ahead and wrap this up because I think it's been about an hour. Has it been an hour? Probably close. But getting back to wrapping up what we talked about at the start of this reading, the truth about your power and why you're secretly stronger than you recognize is because you have to be the one to give yourself permission and stop letting regrets or grief about things that were lost to you in the past keep you from feeling powerful now. Those things weren't in your control because you had no power at the time. But unfortunately, it framed for you the idea of yourself as a person who isn't powerful. And the truth is, you absolutely are. You absolutely are. And you're about to start a new phase of life that really has you standing in that power. So be prepared to enjoy that. Look forward to that. Commit to it. Don't be afraid of it. And if you ever have times where you feel as though you are afraid to believe in your power, come back to my channel, pick any reading that is on it, and you will be re-empowered to know that you can stand in your power. Because that's the focus that we have here. All right. The truth always lies in your authentic self. And when you get an instinct or an intuition that says something to you about a direction you should go in, or even a direction you shouldn't go in, about a connection you should cultivate, or maybe one you should get rid of, trust that. Don't look for confirmation from other people who haven't walked on that path or who are not you. And guess what? Nobody is you but you. You could have an identical twin, they're still not you. Because that's when it gets confusing, when you start factoring in what they say to you versus what you instinctively or intuitively initially felt. Your power is in your first intuition. It's the one that you just sense. You usually feel it physically in the heart space, right in that breastbone area, right? And then once you start, quote, feeling in the head or that right shoulder, now it's no longer your intuition. Now it is analysis. And it's the analysis of other people's beliefs, thoughts, and feelings. But your power lies in your truth, your desire, and your giving yourself permission to believe your truth and to allow what you desire. Okay, my friends? Y'all, thank you for coming. This is far fewer people than I normally get. And I think part of it is because, first of all, I didn't even know I was doing this today. So I didn't tell my people they were coming. But I am so grateful for Adrian and for Tess for your interactions here and that I was able to answer some questions for you. Thank you for that. For being here. This has been, I love counseling people on self-employment, and I love counseling people on employment through creativity. So I thank you for letting me dust off those muscles, because I haven't done those in a couple of weeks, a few weeks. And then also, what else did I want to say? Oh, and then also it's not vertical. Like there's something about YouTube that they, no worries, Adrian. Adrian said, no disrespect. No worries, sweetheart. No worries. Listen, I'm really good at picking on myself. So hopefully you didn't take that personally. That was literally actually me picking on myself. But anyway, yeah, there's something about YouTube that if your live is vertical, they send it out to more people. I think it's because they're trying to compete with TikTok. YouTube is always trying to compete with TikTok and they can't. And so that's a great example, you guys, of someone trying to be something they're not. Someone trying to be what someone else is, hoping to get that other person's success. YouTube is doing that. So don't beat up on yourself when you sometimes do it, but catch yourself quickly and stop and go back to your seat of power, which is your true and authentic self. Please, you guys, give this a like. Right now, the only person who's giving it a like is my other profile. So if you guys will give it a like, it will definitely help YouTube know that at least the people who came did enjoy it and get something from it. So I am asking you to do that. And I'm also asking you to consider sharing this with somebody else. It would be so helpful to them, I am sure, because there's a lot of truth and wisdom in this, right? Particularly if they happen to be someone who wants to start their own business, or they happen to be someone who is a creative artist in their own right. All right. Thank you guys so much for being here. This is what I have for you today. And I cannot wait to see you the next time I go live.